We're really excited to have 360 Auto submit a digital retailing product called 360 Auto Retail. This is the hottest category this year as more and more new technology, investments, and money are coming into finding solutions to allow consumers to buy a car more transparently and frictionless online. And 360 Auto Retail is focusing on the personalization of the car buying process. Each consumer is directed to their own private portal where they can work their numbers, change down payments, see the affordability of the car, and give them that confidence that they're really in control of the purchase process. By providing penny perfect payment information, 360 Auto Retail gives the consumers real data which to make a decision on. And of course, what does that mean for dealers? It gives dealers the ability to engage with consumers, give the consumers exactly what they need to build that trust online before a decision is made. So let's take a look at 360 Auto Retail's approach to digital retailing, highlights from their AWA demo, and then I'll close with a few comments.
So think of our 360 CXM as a unified program that brings together sales teams, inventory, advertising, and the online retail experience. So if you break it down, our CXM is made of what we call 5 pillars. And you can think of each one of these as a standalone. They have multiple competition. So as you're seeing some of these, there are aspects of each one of these pillars that you've seen from other vendors. One of the things that makes us so unique is that we've got 5 different software technologies baked into one CXM working in tandem. So it's not just an attribution tool. It's not just a marketing automation tool. It's not just a tool that finds auto intenders in the neighborhoods around the dealership. It's not just an equity mining tool. And it's not just a digital retailing tool. It is all of those things put together. And when you look at the customer journey, this is how the CXM some of the CX moments that we were talking about, right? So you think about the first moment might be interest because I'm giving up on a vehicle. That's where the auto target technology, before they start shopping, is able to identify and score how confident we are that someone is not only going to buy the type of vehicle that the dealership is offering, but from that dealership. And there's a number of ways I'm going to go into in a moment here to tell you how we do that. But that is what makes that so powerful. Because what we know is that if we can find those, identify these intenders that are going to buy in the next 90 to 120 days, if we can identify them early, what that does is it allows for us to then give that information with the technology we call auto mining, which is an evolution of the traditional equity mining. And I will cover some of that. And give that to empower the salespeople to start building a relationship with this enriched data, gives the salespeople confidence to build a personal relationship earlier on in the process before the competitors are talking to these opportunities. And then, of course, at the same time, because we know who we're marketing to, that allows us to have an 8-tactic direct to that one individual auto target, a personalized message using paid media, which traditionally paid media, we don't know who we're talking to. But when we start with the end in mind, which is what we call the auto target profile, we're able to market directly to them using a variation of APIs and custom audiences and all the data we know on the person and the types of vehicles that we know that they would be interested in getting into. We're able to use paid media in the same way that historically they've only had email and direct mail being direct to a consumer with a personalized message. So this is very powerful because now we've added 6 more tactics, not the least of which are paid search, paid social media, display, and now also connected television, where we are able to use the U.S. Postal Service to identify the static IP on an individual household that we've identified from the auto target technology and make sure that we're serving that personalized video message to that household and the devices in that household, making sure that we're optimizing and being very, very efficient with who we're talking to. And then, of course, as we bring them down the funnel, we're there with an incredibly personal experience, and we're going to get into how our CXM sites and our auto retail technology create a very easy to use, non-invasive, and very personal based on what we already know on the people that we're marketing to, a very personal experience when they go to make that transaction or at least start the transaction online. And as you can imagine, the auto results, which is our attribution tools, are very rich with every single interaction and path to purchase, because we've already been a part of not only tracking the path, but we were a part of driving that path with multiple different moments throughout the journey. These are the types of auto targets that we focus on. So some of the auto targets are actually already living inside the DMS at a dealership as a service-only customer or parts-only customer, or possibly a previous customer that is primed and is not easy or able to be identified from a traditional CRM in an existing customer, or it could be a high-propensity lead. Of course, you're going to have conquest buyers that have never touched the dealership, and that's going to be a huge part of our model. More than 50% of the auto targets that get brought in are conquest car buyers, never bought service and parts or a vehicle from the dealership, and then leads. So one of the cool things about our auto target technology and our CXM in general is that it's a marketing technology, not an advertising technology. So while it does functionality for advertising to really, really take ad dollars and to make them come alive with these highly dynamic campaigns, we create the most important score, and that's the auto target score. This is the score that lets us know not only are we confident that this person is in market to buy in the next 90 to 120 days, the types of vehicle that your dealership sells, but more importantly, our confidence that they will buy it from your dealership. So this is an incredibly important score that's highly unique to the individual as it relates to the dealership. So the auto target score is what makes us really unique. It's the score you can't buy anywhere else. You can buy some of these scores from different sources, but when you bring it all together, that's the true nature of the auto target service and what a dealership's getting as part of the CXM. As I mentioned before, we score the inbound leads. This is an example of what the profile looks like on each individual auto target. So we've got this powerful profile that's like a CRM, but much more enriched. Let's get into auto mining. So this is where we have worked very hard this last year to make it easy for a sales team and a BDC team to reach out and have personal relationships, have an additional level of confidence because of the information that the salesperson at the dealership has around each individual. One of the things that we've added is something called the Hot Target Dashboard. And the Hot Target Dashboard or Launchpad is where we've gone in and identified and customized based on your dealership's objectives on what are the most important groups of auto targets to reach out to with BDC or what we call outreach efforts: phone, email, text, and social media contacting based on specific offers that we've identified that are highly personal to each auto target. And so the Hot Target gives us those identifiers of opportunities that you're not going to see in the CRM. In addition to giving this to the salesperson, we're automating this in a message to the consumer. So the consumer is going to get mail messages like you see here that talk specifically to their current vehicle, what their equity is and what the current offer is on buying their vehicle from them. And then, of course, other vehicles in the inventory that they can get into with pre-calculated monthly payments using their existing finance information, which we share with the consumer. This is a powerful automation tool that's been added that allows us to really communicate and convert a lot of these opportunities into sales. And in addition to that, you've got all your one-to-one communication I mentioned with email and text, click to dial for the salesperson. There's a lot of digital retailing tools out there. So one of the things that makes ours unique is that we have developed something called our CXM sites, which are an extension of the CXM that's a consumer-facing website portal customized specifically to that auto target. And so when you take that coupled with the rest of the auto retailing components that we're going to get into, like being able to offer warranties, accessories, custom incentives, and get a credit approval and a bank response from a bank, specifically the captive for that dealership. Those are the things that make ours unique. And then when you get into the actual retail transaction, once someone has come in and found a vehicle that they like, we did make it very simple without having to have multiple widgets to allow the individual auto target to value their trade very quickly. If they're a previous customer, we already know the value, so they don't even have to put that in. but then get their perfect payment calculated based on their equity that we already know about in many cases, or they can manually put that in, or they can give us the information on their trade, and we then are able to pre-screen all of their down payment and equity based on their trade and their current payoff. But all of this is designed to be a penny perfect payment that includes all fees and taxes that are going to be associated with the dealership. All of this has already been customized with our offers portal that's built into our CXM. And this is a snapshot from the digital retailing. You can see it's very simple, updates the offer to the right. It's got expirations. Everything about this is fully customizable for the dealership, where they're able to customize this specifically based on their objectives and how they want to communicate any urgency or things like that. It allows for you to actually get the value of the trade, get the payment perfect, add any additional incentives that are specific to myself as an auto target. It allows for me to get the bank approval and credit approval that also is shared to the CRM and DMS also, so that the sales team has all that same data and doesn't have to recapture that information or rerun their credit again when they get to the dealership. From an auto mining standpoint, this is what, once I jump into an auto target list, this is just an example of all the auto targets that bought specifically from our program. So here's an example of someone who we've identified as an opportunity. They've got equity in the vehicle. This is this matrix we had talked about for exchanging to this brand new body style for the Camaro. They can get into it actually and save $44 a month by just handing over their keys at the next service visit. And we've identified this offer and made it available to them. This is what the consumer is going to see. So we've already run their credit and know that they're approved for up to $80,000 at 2.9% interest. And this is something that is very powerful because we're giving this to the dealership as well as the auto target. Here you can see we have got multiple types of statuses. So if I just wanted to look at the Conquest auto targets that have interacted with the dealership last month or in the last 30 days, I can quickly do that. So 829 of what we consider Conquest customers, which are customers that did not come in as a lead, that we identified as in market from around the neighborhoods from our auto target technology, have interacted in some way with the dealership. So give you an example, this guy right here is 72, purchasing power 700, 719, which is his credit score, and a net worth of 250 to 500, has actually been actively looking at at inventory on the website. We can see this is one of the vehicles that he's specifically looking at is this Yukon. And so this is a really great story about somebody who's already marked as an 80 in markets, never bought from the dealership before, but has been marketed to for some time, and has recently opened an email that was created just for him, which was based around that Yukon. So we're actively sending him marketing messages based on what we know he's looked at. Here was his first phone lead that actually was on a secondary source. So this is somebody we've identified early on in the process and now has come in as a lead on a separate marketplace, which is specifically from Car Gurus. So this is a perfect example where we're bringing in data from not just one source or just marketing that we're executing out of the CXM, but also all the third-party data. This is the personalized portal for the same Chevrolet dealership that we were looking at earlier that has myself already preloaded. This has already got my information about my used Cadillac. It's got specific coupons and scheduling service options for me based on my vehicle. It's got upgrade offers based on the vehicles that would make sense. Now, clearly I drive a Cadillac, so it's not going to have a Cadillac to offer because it's a Chevrolet dealership. But as a used car customer, these are some of the new cars that I can look at that are upgraded. And they already have information preloaded based on my equity. If I wanted to finance it or lease it, that's already been pre-calculated. And so from here, I can then immediately go to buy online. And this is where the actual digital retailing portion starts. Up until you get to the digital retailing moment, right, the buy now moment, all of these pieces, the dashboard, the CXM site, all the interactivity, the customizing the payment, and the ability to schedule the test drive and get pre-approved, All of these components, by the way, are included in our CXM. So just so you know, we go to market with digital retailing as an optional pillar. The other 4 pillars are automatically included in the CXM. We do make the digital retailing technology, which is the online desking component, optional. So if someone does have an existing digital retailing that they don't want to separate themselves from, they can still be a part of our CXM, which this CXM site, our equity mining, our auto marketing, that's dynamic auto marketing, and the auto results and reporting is all included in the CXM.
I hope you enjoyed the highlights from the 360 Auto Retail software platform, a new way to give consumers personalized payments and access to the affordability of the cars that dealers sell. I encourage you to take a look at how their approach may be different than other digital retailing tools on the market, because when set up properly, digital retailing tools can increase engagement, increase profitability, increase F&I uptake, and these are all the things that dealers want, plus a reduction in the time it takes to sell a car. So digital retailing is truly here to help dealers lower costs and increase customer satisfaction while retaining gross margins. And, well, that's why it's important for you to click on the links and go to the 360 Auto website. Learn more about the 360 Auto Retail software suite, read the dealer testimonials, and then don't forget to go to AWA.autos to see a list of this year's winners of the prestigious AWA Award.